Blendon Township Board of Trustee regular work session meeting is called to order at 5:30 p.m. You may remain seated for a moment of reflection or stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Atkins? Here. Trustee Seamaka?
Present.
Trustee Zobel?
Here. So, this is our first work session. We're going to fumble through it the best we can and see what happens. But first, I just want to talk a little bit about the purpose of the meeting and why we are doing this. And one of the big reasons is the Open Meetings Act, aka Sunshine Laws, for anybody who is watching this and doesn't know. Because we only have three trustees, anytime two of us were to get together, it would form a quorum, and you would have to be meeting in an open forum like this to have any discussion or deliberation about anything that might be voted on. So these meetings will give us a chance to actually work together as a team, collaborate, brainstorm, come up with ideas together, use the ideas that we've already come up with and pick each other's brains, using each other's strengths. We might be able to come up with something one of us is wanting to work on, the other decides they want to jump in with it, or just as likely say, yeah, that sounds great, and go have some fun with that. But we're not going to just get bombarded at a regular meeting with, hey, I've been working on this for 3 months. What do you think? Do you want to vote on this? This will give us a chance to really work together with this. No public comment during the work sessions. If you have any questions about anything that comes up here, you'll have plenty of time to talk about it at the regular meeting, which is just after this. But we're going to use up this time. Like I said, we can't usually talk together like this, so we want to have that time to do that. That may change later on as we do more and more of these work sessions, and we want to get more feedback from everybody. But for now, no public comment. That said, we can move straight into discussion items. Kim, do you want to start with anything? Because I know my stack is big, so I don't want.
You can start with your stack. That's okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
The one big thing that I would like to start with is the Neighborhood Advisory Committee, and that's something that I was talking about since almost day one of campaigning. And what that, in my mind, is, and before we were both sworn in and actually became trustees, Tim and I were able to talk a little bit more about this and actually work on getting it written out together, would be an umbrella committee to engage the residents and get as much community involvement going as possible. And that Neighborhood Advisory Committee would be a way to get volunteers to come in who would then separate out into whatever their passion might be. For instance, the Parks Advisory Committee, Tenant Advocacy Committee, Tim's Strategic Planning Committee. Delina, you mentioned something that you were going to be doing at a couple
Neighborhood
meetings.
watches.
The neighborhood watch, same idea, that could fall underneath here. Any future ideas that come up. But at the OTA meeting, they were even talking a lot about cemetery preservation and restoration. That might even be something. We might have somebody in one of the neighborhoods who's really interested in that, and we could put that together and say, all right, Matt's in charge of that one. And in my head, that's where I see that happening, where each of the trustees or different department staff would be not in charge of those committees, but they would be the liaison for those committees, either showing up to the meetings when they have those or just being available to answer questions, kind of guide them, let them know what can and cannot be done in the township, much like when I was on the Parks Advisory Committee and you were there as our liaison for it. And we learned a lot about what did and didn't work there, for one thing. You know, the guy who treats his lawn daily with chemicals probably shouldn't have been in charge of the Parks Committee, but anyway.
Wasn't in charge.
Wasn't in charge of it. We were just there. But yeah, but finding the right person to work within each of those. So like the Parks Advisory Committee, I would love to get volunteers working on that, help them with ideas. Tenant Advocacy Committee as well, strategic planning, like I said, for Tim. What are y'all? What are your all's thoughts on this?
I think having having an overall collective makes it easier for people to be a part of the program that they want to be part of. So I think in that aspect, it's good. And I think as a general purpose committee, it would allow people to say, you know, I'm not as interested in this as I initially thought. Maybe, you know what, I think I do have a better voice over here. Or you have people that might specialize in one thing in their daily life that you could translate over to another group, which would be visible, you know, across the streams. So I mean, I think having that can be more effective. And then obviously it depends on how large that is and how many committees there are.
Right.
As to what
Right.
that looks like as well. So, I mean, I think there are benefits. There are probably some things that, again, we would have lessons learned after starting it and what we would need to do to adjust. So it would have to be pretty loose, I think,
Yeah.
initially.
I agree. And by doing it this way, having that umbrella committee, I feel like it would be easier, to just keep creating little subcommittees underneath there as the need or the desire arises. Maybe some of them will live for a while and die off. Maybe some of them will stick around for a long time, and we'll see some real changes being made by the residents, which is just the absolute best thing that can happen, in my opinion.
I think,
Especially Neighborhood Watch. I mean, that one has
Yes.
lived and died a dozen times, I think.
I know,
Being able to
well,
have
if we
that.
can get everybody, the engagement, I think, is gonna be the challenge for anything. I've been attempting diligently for 2 years to get aqua water letters, and I still have about 51. And I've promoted it until I can no longer promote, which I will continue to promote it. But I think the issue is gonna be community engagement. How do we go about getting that?
Social media is big, for sure. And what, we'll be talking about this at some point, the newsletters or whatever we decide to do with that to get information out to the residents in a more timely manner. That would be a way to get more of that.
Are these trustee discussions, and we just sit and take notes and take direction at the end, or can I throw something out there?
No, and that's why we
Yeah,
want
that's-
everybody
Sure.
here. Yeah.
So I've been in local government about 18 years, so I've seen a lot of this, very successful a lot of this. But the most successful committees we've ever had up north have been put together, and it's been very clear that they have to have a mission and a vision and stay within that mission, and ultimately the trustees advise what they can and can't move forward in doing. Otherwise, where folks out there may feel the government overreaches at times, a lot of times the committees will do the same thing and become pseudo-employees and things like that. We get some animosity going on between the
Pass
committees
that all
and
the way down.
staff.
Yes, I think you've seen that. That actually is touched on within
Okay.
that draft,
Yeah, so it's-
very clearly
So
that.
we kind of stay in that mission. This
Yes.
is what we're here for. This is what we're supposed to do, and this is our guidelines, so that people, you know, maybe you have a senior city committee and they're telling Val that she needs to come in Sunday and mop the floors or something because they're not, you know, just things
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely.
Val, how about for like, the Easter Bunny event? What if we had, typically a lot of township people show up to that. Maybe we could have signups for various types of groups that we wanna have and just see, put the signups out there on the table and see who might do what, just to, again, the community engagement is something, social's great, but most of those people are keyboard warriors and they may stay home and not get involved actively.
So I think one of the other things that is on my list, and Eric was in one of the strategic planning meetings that I was in on during the OTA conference, is a community survey. So I think you really quickly can identify what people are passionate about with those. And I think we need to do that anyway for the planning committee. So that's something that, you know, we should work out and say, this is what our question list is gonna look like, and you can even, from that, get those
Yeah.
passion things. Obviously, it depends on your response rate too, but
You know what we could do for that, and this might, just to get the community to tell us what they're passionate about, is maybe one flyer, attach a QR code to each bullet point. And they can scan it and say, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in this. If we do too many flyers, I mean, that gets a little costly, but one flyer, just to get a community survey and have little bullet points, might be something that people would be willing to scan I'm just throwing that out
And
there.
quickly, yeah, quickly respond.
Even texts, we could do text surveys or sending just texts out to all the residents. That's pretty cheap to do, about 2 cents a pop or so. Most everybody's gonna delete it and get mad at us, but, I mean, we can still do it.
You signed up for the alerts.
You got Facebook notification, you got website, you have newsletters / mail pieces like you're talking about. Obviously, the mail piece touches everybody.
Yeah.
So that's, as you know.
People who are not,
Yeah.
yes, that's what I
that's what you
specialize in.
do, and we know that, so that's gotta be important. If it costs us $2,000 or something to get them all the right information, postage, I'm saying.
Yeah.
then that makes sense rather than doing things that, all the other stuff that takes $50 here, $100 here, $300 here, that we don't get the response we want. The QR codes are a great idea. The text surveys, but we have the website, the Facebook, we have newsletter, we have the email notification. We don't have nearly the people on that we hope we can get.
But we could get the
we do still
people
have, we can get people by doing that.
by
so.
doing that survey, the community survey, because we can also have another QR code on there like we have done in the past, where I think one of my girls at the office designed that, so that they could just go right to that link and sign up for the newsletter, or sign up for the email blast.
Right.
So
Yep.
that may be a way to get a bigger database that we've been trying to work on.
Yeah, because we're at like 380, I think,
But
right
we
now.
had
It doesn't have
none
much
2
around.
years ago.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, 380 is better than
Yeah,
none.
absolutely,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to,
So maybe an Easter
increase
sign up?
that touch.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that. Maybe an Easter sign up, just to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think, Val? Put one table out and maybe put a flyer or something big where people can see it and say, and we can do this with our copier, by the way. 11 by 17 or 12 by 18, I think it takes 12 by 18. Put sign up for something you're interested in. And then just have,
Yeah, we could put a million
Whatever those would
topics.
be.
Doesn't mean we have to do all of them, but we can see where people want to go and
Yeah,
then start compressing
what's
them
your passion?
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because there'll be hundreds of people here for the Easter bunny, so we may as well try to take advantage
Yeah,
of that. It's next
absolutely.
month.
And then we have the concerts in the park and just all the things. We could do that.
Get a lot of
every
people from
single
out of
time.
area that come to concert in the park, so we know a lot of the people, I think, are mainly gonna be here from the township for the Easter bunny, you think? Cause that's,
Yeah, we're also, starting to schedule community events, inviting London Township, coming to the senior center and meeting members here. So I think that would be good, like Friday night events.
Yeah.
So
like that.
bringing the community, yeah, we talked about that, at the concert. Yeah. So bringing the community together over here to see, what is the London Senior Center all about? So I think that would be a great event, like our food trucks and our movie nights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would be.
yeah.
So Pat, we need to vote on the neighborhood advisory committee, correct?
The creation of it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something, I would think you guys would wanna put a resolution in place for
Okay.
the committee, and then the subcommittees could just fall underneath it. You wouldn't have to motion every time you wanted to do that.
Okay.
But doing the overall one, like, put a motion together and you guys can consider it in a later meeting.
Okay. Are we all good with that? And with the way it's written and everything? Okay. Well, we can touch on this at some point, but yeah, my idea with going back to that for just a second, like with all these subcommittees that get created, one of the things with the Parks Committee that ended up happening is we met and we met and we met and we met and we came up with a huge presentation and we did it one time. What would have been helpful was coming before the board more often to get feedback, coming, every 2 months or so and presenting, like, this is where we're at right now. Should we keep going in this direction, or are we gonna get shut down anyway, so let's just throw that off and go somewhere else. So giving residents that time on a set schedule to come and speak, and giving them over 5 minutes, setting that up as, like we do when we have guest speakers and so forth, to give them some special time.
Yeah, having a representative come to one of these and sit down with us for a discussion works just as well, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
that would work too, if they, if they,
it's a back and forth here, or could be with a committee member that we, bring in for a presentation. I mean, it's
yeah.
another option.
If we brought a different one in, like for every work session
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah. We can figure out that. Okay. All right. So next step on that is just to create the resolution and get that passed, and we can move on with it. All right. I'm gonna go back to parks, not under the neighborhood advisory committee, but just in general, some of the things that I would love to see happen, mostly I'm talking about Ridgewood right here, but I know we need to do some stuff with Sunbury Wood Commons. I know they want more things to happen right there, over there, and it's just what will and will not work in that space because it's such an odd space. I've walked it so many times and it's hard to figure much out besides doing more of a delineated walking path between all of the houses. Like, I think, Matt, you and I might have talked about that at one point, like with mulch or something down there where it shows that this really is township park property. It's not these yards that are coming out and people have kind of taken ownership over what is not theirs. As far as Ridgewood goes, Carolyn Corderay actually had a great idea for putting an amphitheater out there. I know that's a big budget thing, but I got some information about those when I was at the OTA conference, and there are definitely some grants out there that we can look into that for. Another thing would be, and I might have somebody who will do this for us for free, actually, corralling the porta potties at Ridgewood Park. So I know we're not gonna get a bathroom out there, we're gonna have the porta potties, but if we could corral those and just have a little more privacy, make them look a little bit better, so when we are doing these concerts and all these events and stuff out there, we don't just have those things sitting over there like they are. Then near those porta potties, we could do one of those multi-use fountains that is a drinking fountain, a dog water station, and a hand washing station. They had those at the OTA conference for about $6,500. So a chunk of money, but nothing huge. And again, there are grants for those as well.
What liability would there be with something like that? Pat, do you know offhand?
I'd have to check with our
Like
folks.
bacteria and,
I'd just have to check with Wendy and our Tom and see what they say for liability purposes.
You know, just call Westerville or something. I mean, they've got them all over the place at all the parks everywhere. So obviously the other towns have looked into that and figured out that it works. Porta potty founing, pet washing. Also, I've got the login and everything going, looking into a grant through the Ohio Public Works. There's a July deadline on that, and again, for conservation of Ridgewood Park. I'm not sure exactly what that would look like at this point. I'm at the very beginning stages of that, but just wanted y'all to know that I was going in that direction, and hopefully something will come through there.
is that a match grant or is that 100%?
This one, yeah,
It would be a match.
it's a
Well,
match. It's not a.
Unless it's $1,000
Kathy
bucks.
got the one for America 250, that was
Because
my,
that's Trump stroking checks, that's different than, it's a
Yeah,
federal,
it's
that's,
not
but
a-
he was,
It's
yeah.
definitely a match. I don't remember
It's
what
not
the-
50-50 though.
It's not.
I wanna say 80-20, but I also feel like I'm lying to you and making it sound better than it is. So, just.
I don't remember. I
Yeah.
did look at that as well.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the match was, off the top of my head.
But yeah, what that conservation grant does too, it allows you to do not just the parks, but any green space and stuff that we already own or that we might want to buy so that it remains a green space. So, yeah. All right, that's it on parks for me, unless anybody has any other comments.
I do have some other comments about the parks. What does our, and this may be a Joanne question too, but what is our park, upkeep, maintenance, like what does that look like for us? Not just cost-wise, but effort and that kind of thing. Like, there was some vandalism there, but even prior to the vandalism, you know, we've got some gazebo issues, we've got some bridge. If we're gonna invest in mulching, we should be taking care of those walking paths down the line as well, the benches that are off on the sides. So I just wanna kinda get, just like an idea, a feel of what, obviously what the effort, I don't think that that's just us, but we've brought in Boy Scout troops to do some of that labor before. What can we do there?
Well, I think that we would have to talk to Joanne, because all parks are funded through
Sure.
the general fund. We
Right.
don't have a parks levy, so anything we spend is general fund. Doesn't mean that we don't have money in the budget for parks,
Earmarked,
you
right.
know, that appropriated for parks. But, I think we'd have to look at the scope of it. This is a great discussion, but what do we really wanna do to dig in and say, this is what it costs, and for Joanne to say, we can do this year, we can do this next year, you know, to kind of, that type of thing. If you're saying, let's do benches, let's mulch the path, well, we looked at mulching the path.
Yeah, I think Trustee Heichel had an estimate on that. Wasn't it like 17,000?
It was like 17 or 19,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it
And it
got,
only lasted about a year and a half.
And then you have to redo it.
Yeah.
So, that's a tough one. But
We're
that's
doing
not,
that though, correct?
huh?
I mean, aren't they coming in?
that did not get done,
No,
right?
it did not get approved
It got approved
for next year, for
For
this
next year,
coming year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
So the money's there to do that.
right.
Is it washing away because we need to edge? Where, like, put those black edges in there to maybe keep mulch in there so that we're not spending 17,000 a year?
I mean, it's a mile long.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long edging.
I mean, I had two companies that wouldn't
But
even
if it
quote it.
saves us, if it's cost $17,000 to edge and $17,000 to mulch, and we don't have to edge for 5 years, but we have to mulch annually.
When you say edge, what are you talking
They
about?
put those black landscape edges in that keep the
Running
mulch
off.
from
You're
running
just
off.
talking about like wood.
Plastic.
I think they're
It's
like plastic
plastic.
or like a composite. It's like a composite of some sort.
It's usually recycled material that's
Yeah.
made into
Yeah.
composite.
Yeah.
And-
But that'll
and it's
keep it-
flexible, so you can bend and go around curves and stuff, but I've had it in my house, and doesn't just stay there for 5 years or
Right.
2 years, it's
It
gonna
doesn't
come out.
do
The winter.
Somebody's gonna have to go down and go push for a mile to do
Well,
that. I'm not saying it can't be
Somebody's gonna
done.
walk on it, it's gonna
I'm-
flop over. I mean, it's gonna,
We
that's
could
tough to keep track of too.
Natural materials in the park, I would
It's not
think.
just washing away, it's actually going back into the earth.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's doing what it
Area
does.
Yeah.
doesn't get a whole lot of sun because of the
Right.
trees, so it's constantly wet,
Mm-hmm.
and it just goes back into the earth, turns to mud.
Yeah, I mean,
Is there an alternative?
well, but the cost is extremely high and it's not natural. So I mean, that's your alternative really.
And do we have to put anything down at the end of the day? I
If
hiked
you
and
have
learned.
to,
Yeah.
that is money. I was there last week.
Some
it is
areas
bad.
are though, but not all of them.
It's that really shady area right at the front though, which is obviously the heaviest trafficked area as well. But I mean, our path is very close to the riparian buffer, like, you're gonna have sitting water. I mean, it's just naturally gonna happen. That is a conversation, but I mean, that is set aside for us to do. I think clearing and having, with them coming by and clearing up debris, I think the other side of that is what happens if we go in and remove all of the invasive honeysuckle out of the back too, which also runs up into the trees. So that's a project that, you know, we've been working on for
Yeah.
a while, but I think that does also dry up the mud path and can actually impact that too. And there's a ton back there.
There's only a couple spots that are really bad. The times where we've been back, when we come across them, we could barely get to the
Talking
sidewalk.
about
Yep.
muddy areas,
Yeah,
where, yeah,
really.
yeah. I mean, I'm back there twice a week usually, and
It's, I can't think of, I mean, we talked about another solution other than mulch, you know,
Right.
because rubber's got all kinds of issues. I mean, kids eat it. I mean, I'm telling you, they did
Probably
that
eat mulch, too.
they had it up north and they had to get rid of it, you know? What if we put down, might cost a little bit, what if we put down what they have in high stakes stadiums, turf all the way down through?
see, this is why you shouldn't be allowed to
Comfortable.
even talk about parks.
Get in touch with them.
Just stop.
Well, I mean,
Find out
what about
when they're gonna rip
gravel?
that up and
I
see if
guess
we can get it
gravel
on
would go into
discount.
the dirt as well. What if we had a base, a clay base? There's so much clay in Blendon Township, in the soil. If there was a clay base and you did like a number 2 or crushed limestone, it's just a really soft. That's what we use for the horses.
Eventually, it's just gonna wear.
Everything's just gonna go back into the ground,
You know,
right?
it doesn't, it gently compacts, so it's the only thing that we can effectively use for horses so they don't
Okay.
get stones and pebbles under their hooves. But it gently compacts, and it'll look like, but it's not, it'll look like concrete eventually, but it's not. I mean, when you look at it from a distance, it's got that gray look, but it's like a powder. It's a crushed limestone. That may be an option, and what we use at the horse farm for areas that are low, they have this product that wicks the moisture, and then there's these little mats that you can put on that, and then you put whatever on top of the mat. And it kind of keeps all the asphalt from dropping down and the gravel from dropping down. I can get you links for that, but it works really well for low areas for horses because that can get muddy so fast. But maybe the number 2s of the crushed limestone would be an option.
Okay.
That's a natural product.
Yeah, let's look into it. Let's look into all the options. Because you mentioned
We got a dump
honeysuckle,
truck. We can get it just loaded up.
we can do fat.
We can discuss
Yeah.
that.
How much was
tailgate.
that?
It was either $300 or $500.
Okay, and that's for a
Yeah.
year.
Too narrow.
Well, you could with an ATV maybe, right? Do you have the bed that lifts?
That's what.
But I'm not saying,
Somebody else do
that's,
it?
that's what, well, that's what I'm saying. Sorry.
Tim and I, we're just having our own little conversation.
We're having our conversation over
Yeah.
here, so.
But we were talking about fact, about, I think this had been brought up before about getting in, is it a membership with them? I
It's
don't-
a sponsorship, I
Oh,
think, but
Okay,
it is essentially a membership. It's a,
okay. But for whatever the cost was, Tim said he thought it was $500 for the year. We get their help with coming in and removing that invasive honeysuckle. They help with volunteers, they bring the tools, they do the things.
Do they
So
bring volunteers?
They bring volunteers.
They
Well,
do,
that's worth
yeah.
So we
Right.
bring our volunteers, obviously, when we make the call out to the community, but yeah, they bring their own volunteers from all over the place. We've got people from Bexley, it's literally everywhere. And it's everywhere that Allen Creek or the tributaries touch. So we have Spring Run, obviously there's a section of Allen Creek there as well. But yeah,
Turtle.
it's like
Yeah.
nothing compared to the value really, because they'll come and work for 4 hours and you're paying 12, if you're paying 12 people to work for 4 hours, it's,
I think that's a great idea.
yeah.
So we just
It's
need a resolution
fantastic
for
thing.
that as well.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
I can just call him and get the application all together and everything.
Okay, if so we've got
I have
the
his
consensus
contact
here, and we
information.
can just go
Well,
forward.
Dave,
Okay,
Even
Alright.
if we did plan it.
yeah.
That's fine, it's not ours.
Hey, before we go and get crazy, hey Val, or business leaders, what do you guys what's happening? Can you tell us about what you have going on or what you need or?
Oh, my.
I knew it was gonna open a door.
yeah, stop.
I don't want it to
because
just
I-
be about
yeah.
us.
Holiday
Yeah.
decor, I know.
Oh, yeah, holiday decor, yeah. We're starting to replenish that because it's maybe 40s.
You ready for Easter? I know when I spoke to Joanne, our fiscal officer, when you brought that up last year, I think it was, she said that there is money in the fund for that.
Yes.
So,
Yes, we've been trying to replenish that event by event. Yes. So that's helping a little bit. It kind of gives it a refreshed look when we do our events, and our events are getting much more popular now. The attendance is picking up. We had 50 at the concert on Sunday, and then we had a Valentine's party the weekend before. We had
Well, we had a special guest that kind of drove
65 He was a
attendance.
special guest, yes. We had about 65 at the Valentine's party, so it was really, yeah.
It was only
Great job.
65 at the Valentine's party, it looked like more than that.
65,
Looked like more than that, honestly.
that's because they're all up on the dance floor.
There's a lot of people in here.
Did you get any video?
Oh, we got pictures.
Okay.
Our Valentine's party.
Yeah. I take pictures.
Yes.
Still out and take pictures.
You did a great job, yes.
do we have those posted to the website?
Yeah, I haven't seen those.
I didn't know you could do that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, we want.
That's how we get more people.
Yeah, and then we can, and then we share those on the social pages and everything, yeah, let's
Get 'em out
get
there.
all that out there.
Yeah, we're happy to do it. And then our equipment, and thank you for our freezer, that was huge. We get donations sometimes from, various member families. They bring us food for our lunch sometimes just to help subsidize the cost, because our lunches are now increasing. We could go from 60 to 70 people for lunch on Friday now, where we used to be 30, maybe 40. So that's huge. That's helping, and we need places to put all that food that they do, so that was huge. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for everything you do, it's amazing.
Well, thank you.
Well, we are looking at, Joanne's aware of, and I have a meeting with Joanne Monday at 3 o'clock, talk about a couple of different budget items, one of them being a new stove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've definitely all had a discussion about the stove, so.
So we've all talked about that. We've looked into it, we've got pricing. I just want to clear with Joanne what fund is money appropriate, if not do a supplemental and try and get moving forward on getting that taken care of. Matt's tried to have it fixed several times, it just doesn't.
There are days you walk in here and
So-
you smell gas everywhere.
Yep.
It doesn't go for a while and it comes back.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll get that figured out.
I was like, yeah, we definitely need to replace that. It
I'm
definitely smells like
constantly
gas.
going in that kitchen checking, is it off? I'm checking the pilot.
That's, they trained me well at Columbia Gas, I guess. Sniff it out real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And as I mentioned earlier too, we're trying to bring the community and connecting them with our members here. I know a lot of them are within the community here, but I think it would be really neat to bring the generations together and see what we're all about. Because old people are very nice people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they are active. I think that would be really neat. We did start a 90s club as well. We have
Oh, God, I thought you meant the 1990s.
I did too, and I was
Oh,
gonna
gosh.
be
You
all
guys are too
over.
young. I knew exactly
Oh, my
what you
God.
meant.
Yes, we have 44 here as members, so we do have that club, and we bring them in once a month, not so much January, February, obviously because of the weather, but we're starting that back up in March. And they want a purpose, so each time they come in, they do something other. Our last event was for hospice, Echo Hospice, so they put bags together for hospice patients. This March, they're gonna be putting table decorations and treats for all the volunteers that help us here at London. So we're gonna have a nice luncheon for them, and they're gonna join them when they're done, so, yeah.
Another reason you need that stove.
Do
Lot
you
of
have,
meals.
do you have a list of our residents who are over 100 or over?
We have one that I know of, Albert Surratt, and we have one member that will be 100 in May, I believe.
So maybe we should do something special for our members that are 100 or over.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, that'd be really nice. We will do it as a member, but.
90 and over dinner.
Residents.
The 90 and over dinner was great. The party we had, when was that?
That was September.
Yeah,
You're
September.
saying not just senior center members, you want
Any,
township-
any township resident that is
Yeah.
100 or over, because there aren't that many. I mean, I think I heard of maybe 2.
How do we find that out?
Well, the one we did,
One was a member,
Yeah.
that's how we knew.
and he was in the military, and
Yeah.
he
You'll
got
see
an
him sitting out
award.
on Dempsey most of the nice days.
Yeah.
We could ask any of the senior members who they know who live in the township who are 100 years old or older, and then just give them maybe a medal. I mean, it doesn't, or even a nice crystal award. They're like $50, $60, and they're beautiful.
So if we did something like this, and I'm just thinking, that's because my great granny made it to 100, and we had a birthday party for her, and I made all these posters of all the decades, all the things that had happened in each decade. We could do something like that. So like, she was born when the Titanic sank. And,
Wow.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, isn't that? But we could do something like that to kind of commemorate it.
Yep.
So that would be
I
super cool.
think just rewarding our residents for being here and being with us.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a great idea.
And then you may want to do an 80s dinner, a 90s dinner. That means 80 or 90,
Right,
80
yeah.
to
You
90.
know what? I'll show up to either one of them.
90s, 100.
Asking me, well, I'm 80, are you not doing anything for the?
You probably should.
That's what there's a milestone, and I have my budget.
Well, we might be able to get Kroger to help us with some of that.
We do. Eileen is great with that. The two of us hit the grocery stores, like BJ's gives us gift cards, not necessarily donation, but they give us gift cards to help subsidize some of the shopping. Kroger did, and Giant Eagle, they donated the birthday cake for the 90th. I mean, Carfine has sponsored the dinner for the 90s, so we're always out there active.
I mean, no, next time Carfine is doing that, I'll dress up.
It was delicious, and it was very nice for them, and we had over 100 people. It was nice to see the families with the members.
Oh, at the 90s thing?
Mhm.
Yeah, I met
Yeah.
so many people's kids and stuff.
Yep,
They're mine. I mean, their kids are
Grandkids.
mine.
yep, it was really special.
It's cool.
Snow, anything going on?
No, I wanted to go back on a couple of things we talked about.
Yeah,
The-
let's do it.
I don't know what grant you were talking about, but what I looked up for some of those grants, it was one for one.
So the
Right.
one, the Ohio Public Works was the specific one that, I just got started on this much.
Then it talked about, Franklin County Soil and Water offers many grants.
Yep.
We have a great relationship with them.
There's the Columbus Tree Assistance Program. They also offer grants funding up to $10,000 per project. But a majority of them had listed the one-for-one ratio. But we can look that one up. And then the other thing I was looking up, and you said it because I was gonna mention gravel, but I know gravel's expensive. But you talked about the limestone, and that's made for driveways, that kind of stuff, that pathways was one of the big ones for
It
that.
works great, and it stays for a very long time. I only usually have to add to it once every 5 years.
And so it's used large, and then you can, it's like a dust.
Yes, that's it.
You know, and I don't think we have to walk from every grant that's one for one, if it's a $10,000 grant.
Right.
Maybe it still
Right.
works for us
Right.
financially. It's the it's the roads and curbways and things like that where it's $1 million to have this road, and we gotta give half of that. You know, I mean, that's, but we're looking at something like, something with the Parks Preservation, it's a $22,000 project, so it's 11. Maybe we can still do that. And again, Joanne can look at the numbers and see where we're at, you know, but, so.
What was that? So back to what's going on. So, zoning and BZA meetings, right now, the zoning commission, we're focused on short-term rentals. And, they had inquired about including the BZA committee, the board in some of those meetings and discussions. So we're looking at that, and here's why. Because we need to look at how we would be addressing short-term rentals.
Right.
Right now, we handle it through our Ohio Building Code, but we should have something in place through our resolution to say, here's how we're gonna address it.
Right.
So we can handle it a couple different ways. We can permit it, or we can conditional use it. And that was something we discussed at the training we went to. And it was specifically Canton Township. They had a very nice policy, and it talked about conditional uses, and that way you could be able to monitor it and say, hey, here's what's going on, plus be able to post it out and say, here's what you need to do in order to have a short-term rental. Here's our requirements. So that's something that's in the works, and we're gonna treat that as work groups during meetings through the zoning commission. I mean, those will be handled and addressed through our regularly scheduled meetings when we don't have agenda items, and then there may be special meetings in there as well. But we advertise that on the board and through Facebook.
Did you have a chance? Oops, sorry. I spoke with Adam about this, and then after he left, I spoke with you about this and getting with Knox County, because I know they have short-term rental, Airbnb zoning regulations.
So I did, and in short, it's like pulling teeth to get any information, because everyone that I talked to, they didn't have anything on that. I specifically addressed it with the county, and then I spoke to 2 different townships in Knox. I can't recall who it was, but I was trying to do the research on it, and they didn't seem to have much on it at all. And then when I went to that training, there were all these other jurisdictions that said, here's how we're gonna do it, we're banning them, or, you know, we didn't allow it, or it was, riverfront communities, that kind of stuff. So we were just trying to look at how could we address it? And in the research that I did and was able to pull up, Canton seemed to be about the most thorough to be able to
And
include.
kind of
But,
comparable, maybe? Because obviously, we're not a riverfront community.
Yeah, I don't think they were either, but yeah, just the way they laid it out and how they wanted to, how you had to be able to apply apply for a short-term rental.
Mm.
Seemed to
Yeah.
really flow nicely and would be able to incorporate within the township pretty easily.
I know that Columbus has a similar program, but it seemed like it was pretty loosely, to be honest with you, so.
It's so hard for Columbus to monitor anything that they're doing from zoning regulation, but did you try Mount Vernon? Because I know the client that told me he got out of Airbnbs because of the rental registration fees. And I had rentals, in Sandusky over by the Jet Express a while back, and they were charging per unit $1,500 a year rental registration, and then you had to submit your tax returns and pay a percentage of that. Now, we're not, again, on the water, those were waterfront, but if we had maybe just an annual rental registration fee, or, I mean, still, you got problems with Airbnbs everywhere you go. I mean, I'm hearing it, it's what I do for a living. I mean, I don't handle Airbnbs, but I hear the complaints about them. So I know that a lot of people are asking for conditional use if they're gonna have an Airbnb, but then how do you monitor that?
So that's what we're tasked with. So we need to come up with, how do we want to address it? So that's why I brought it up during the commission meetings to say, hey, is it an issue? And I used the example of Bath, Ohio made the news, and that prompted a few phone calls through the township to say, hey, what's your policy on it? Well, what is our policy on it? So I'm like, okay, let's find out what our policy is. So that's when I found the Ohio Building Code to say, here's what the requirement is to have a short-term rental. Fire separation is huge, and it's 25 or 30 feet. So if that's the case, nowhere in an R8 district will you be able to meet that requirement.
What do they consider short-term? 1 day, 1 week, 1 month?
Short-term is transient, and it's less than 30 days. So if it's over 30 days, it's not a short-term rental. Under that, it's a short-term rental. And then we would need to look at what our rules would be on it. So that would be, if we're gonna charge a fee, do you have to pay, how are you gonna handle those? And we'll be able to advertise that through a website to say, here's our policy on it, here's our resolution, here's what I'm gonna collect on it. That's way down in the weeds as for now, but we'll have to address it when we come to it.
We have no idea
I
how
think
many.
just coming up with a,
Right.
trying to find them is
Monitor
difficult
the
because
sites.
Yeah. I've done that
you
a
don't
couple
really just
times,
have
but-
short-term rental in Blendon Township. It's Westerville.
Yep,
So it could be anywhere in Westerville.
yep.
And then most neighborhoods with HOAs, we don't allow them at all.
Yeah. Well, until slowing down really, I think, slowed down the short-term rental rate
Yeah.
around here too, so.
The idea of
Like
the
the
commission and
macro
BZA getting together though, and Eric did clear that, we did with Julie Donnan for those two groups coming together and discussing, right? And she's like, no, you're good, you can do it. I think that was a great idea, because now you have those two, you got a quasi-judicial group, and you have the commission, and if they can put together, come up with some good ideas it's a framework to present to you, I think that's a great step, and get in the right direction on it.
It's a problem. We need to figure out the best way to address it.
So that's what's going on with those committees. Those meetings are going well. We've had, our regular meetings for the BZA. We've had daycares, home daycares.
Yeah.
It's been a big one. We have several, more than 6 children in home daycares in the township. And they are all committed, so, and they do their fire inspections, so that's going along, but that's been a big issue.
So less than 6 or less, they're babysitting. And you get about.
But you have 5 now. 5 now that have more than 6, up to 12. Those all go in front of the BZA, saying that here's the conditional use and here's what you're going to be able to do. there's some conditions on it. So like transportation, parking, that kind of stuff to be able to accommodate.
I do remember seeing, papers in the door, sign your kid in when I was walking the neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah, there are a couple in, Sunbury Woods for sure. There was obviously a lot of discussion about, alternates for zoning. Would it be a good idea to have somebody for BZA too? I mean, I know we've got our standard group and they're seem to be having their meetings on schedule, but I mean, would it hurt?
I don't know that it would hurt, no. I can bring it up to them. I don't have a problem with it, but I can bring it up to them in a meeting to say, hey, do you think it would be a benefit for us to have an alternate in case, but you'd always have a quorum in the meeting.
Well, it would give us, an option if somebody were, obviously, if somebody weren't able to make a meeting, obviously you'd still have quorum, but, if somebody decides to leave that position, you'd at least have somebody that has some knowledge, I guess, of the way things operate, hopefully.
Yep.
So it's hopefully an easier transition. I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing to have by any means. And there are plenty of people that, at least based on, what came in the last time around, plenty of people who are willing to put some time.
So for that, we just need to put it out there, like, hey, we're.
Yeah, consensus is saying, put it out there. You guys want me to advertise it, we'll advertise it. And, what's today, we put it out for 2 weeks and
Yeah,
see
we
what
might
we
as
get.
well and see what we get, and, I mean, that's another, group of people who obviously wanna be involved with the community.
Right.
We've got some more names of people that, hey, you didn't make the BZA, but maybe you wanna do these other things.
I would encourage,
We're not kicking anybody off.
I would
right?
encourage,
But I mean,
I would encourage the board to interview though, for that position. Because even though it's an alternate, the BZA is quasi judicial, it's not a
Right.
commission. So
Right.
if we get 3 or 4 people that are very interested in it, maybe you guys could do 10 to 15-minute interviews before one of the trustee meetings and make a decision rather than just looking at resumes.
Yeah.
Because it would be important, I mean, that BZA is important.
Totally.
But it's gonna become more important as we get short-term rentals and all this stuff.
Absolutely.
So, it'd be a little bit of time on your part, but it might be worth those conversations. Even if you did them on one-on-ones, they could call you and you could have conversations with them. You can do it either way.
Chief, anything that's not related to the meeting that's coming up here in 10 minutes that you, that you have for discussion?
Well, your question for Val and Eric was what's going on?
What's going on?
So, let's see what's going on.
We have 13 minutes, right?
Necessarily, well, not necessarily what I was gonna say in the meeting, but, the warm weather, spike in theft reports, trespassing, domestic violence, mental health runs, medic assists, fights and assaults are all up. We do have 2 new officers that are in training right now, 2 conditional hires. We've got 1 more who is just waiting on 1 form to come back from the hospital. They sent the wrong form. As soon as we get that, he's got the green light, and we'll get him a start date. We all got new Axon body cameras. These are the next generation AI. We already had transcribe feature on there. It's actually changed police work from astronomically from when I first did the job. We got low on staffing and we used to give people witness statements to fill out. We can write down that and then sign it. Well, now they tell us it all goes on to the body camera, and then the body camera prints out a transcript of everything that both of them said. And it's just changed reporting. That becomes the report. So they don't have to fill out a witness statement. They don't have to sign something. It's also very easy. It goes into the matrix, and then the prosecutor just downloads it from the matrix. It's astronomically changed the kind of a logistical process. This new body camera also has Translate on it. It has 59 languages on it right now. So I can set it for the language, pick the language, I can start talking, it'll say what I'm saying in Somali or Arabic or 59 different languages, and then when they say it back, it'll listen and then tell me what they just said.
Super helpful, that's awesome.
Yes, with this new upgrade comes with, we're moving from the Taser 7s to the Taser 10s, and that comes with a full suite of VR headsets. The VR tasers and firearms will go with them, and just an almost endless selection of scenarios, which are also AI-driven. So when the officer uses good de-escalation language in this training scenario, the subject de-escalates. When he says words that maybe are hot-button words, the subject escalates. It has all manner of foreign people that don't speak English that you have to use your translate on. It has autistic scenarios, it has different mental health scenarios. Two officers can work at the same time, so there's double the VR handgun taser sets so that they can react to shoot, don't shoot situations, tase, don't tase situations. Right now, we've got 5 officers going through the training program to train us on, I'm walking around with Translate, but I haven't been trained on it yet. So they're going through the program primarily next week to get trained on how to train the rest of us, and then any new incoming officers on all the TASER 10, the AI features, the body cameras, the Translate, and we'll be using the VR headsets with all of that. We did get back yesterday the final report from the final department in Franklin County, and we do have the only all-female detective bureau in Franklin County. That's
Thank goodness, because we announced that. Jeez.
well, we said we believed it to be.
Oh, okay.
And it has been verified. There's and they're, the 3 of them are just off to the races on cases. They're on overdrive. They're working a lot of stuff. Clearing a lot of both things that go to detective bureaus, a lot of departments, and things that don't get followed up on with the patrol bureau in a lot of departments. They're getting a lot of good stuff done over there. The whole county's getting slammed, and the whole state, with hacking, swatting, and the swatting has gone a lot to bomb threats. So there's a lot of swatting bomb threats right now. There's a lot of hacking where the hackers are going into different systems and causing disruption. They're still investigating it, but it might be a situation where they go on platforms and they report things as if they are law enforcement to start an inquiry into why is this law enforcement officer doing this, and we don't know that he is. We think it might be a hacker doing it in their name on different social media platforms and different interactive platforms. Things are going to get real crazy downtown. We drive down there almost every day for picking up subpoenas, grand jury, testifying in traffic court. But the old jail on Front Street is coming down, and that's going to really restrict downtown traffic and parking. And so we're going to have more hours involved in getting officers to court and back. So that jail is being torn down. At the same time, we got a briefing today about the new hospital at OSU and how they've changed the names of a lot of streets down there. They've changed the name of the buildings. They've got a helicopter pad on top of the big tower now. So that all had to reroute a lot of the dispatching, and when we take a lot of our mental health runs, we take people down to OSU. And then a new tower is going up at Children's, which is going to disrupt everything over there. The Homeland Security furlough, the federal furlough has affected state and county. I would have been announcing this week, and we would have been messaging on social media all week long and announcing at the meeting that tomorrow there's going to be drone training again at Ridgewood Park. However, that's been canceled because even though the county and state EMAs are still operating, a lot of the students that were coming to the training were federal. They got shut down. We are affected in a strange way by the Mifflin Township Police staffing shortage. So they're down to their final 2 officers, and both of them are on medical leave. So there is no one on duty in Mifflin Township. The county is covering most of the calls down there, and then the ones the county can't cover are being picked up by Clinton Township. How that's affecting us, we've only been on a few assists down that far south. How it's affecting us is we are now picking up county calls when they're tied up on Mifflin calls. So I know the sheriff did have a meeting with Mifflin Township trustees, trying to get the way ahead in the future and what kind of funding they have and what they can do to sort of alleviate the pressure. It hasn't been too bad. It's been relatively minor for us, more so for Clinton and even more so for the county. But it's a problem that they're trying to work to resolve. We are somewhat involved, and so they include me in all the meetings. That's kind of a quick what's going on.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I signed it.
Do we have Matt and Pat?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Matt.
Matt, what's going on?
As It'll snow Sunday.
Yeah, it's gonna snow.
Yeah.
We're waiting to, hopefully order our last 400 tons of salt and, start getting our spring and summer equipment out. Yeah, we're ready.
Can I put you on the spot for a second then?
You sure can.
Okay, so I asked you about a couple things. I wanted to see if you had a chance to check in. So I had asked Matt about the possibility of we could ever do a pet cemetery within our cemetery at Linden Township.
So I started doing some research on that, and
We talked
You
about
weren't in
that
the meeting
before,
yesterday. Julie Don's sending us all the information over on pet and natural.
And natural burials. Okay, awesome.
Sorry, man, you weren't in the call. I had a call with her
Okay.
yesterday. She goes, Pat, I want to give you an update. I'll have that stuff to you this week.
Okay.
Cool.
There-
We'll wait for
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. He did follow up on, I just happened to talk to Julie and she said,
I know it was your fault, Pat. It's fine.
So we got it. Sorry, man.
That was it, Pat.
Uh,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we can take it to the official then.
Yeah, I think that, like Matt said, I think for me, we're doing some onboarding, the new police officers coming on, and take care of their insurance, doing those type of things. We are gonna put a claim in on this generator. It's done. I talked to Wendy and she said, Pat, put it through insurance. You guys never have claims. Let's get you a new generator. So we put the claim in yesterday. We have, Generac coming out, the local dealer here is coming out. The owner of the company's coming Friday to meet with us to give us a quote on replacing the generator. But it'll be an insurance cost, it won't be on us, except for the document. So, and it's needed, we can't have this place, if it gets cold again and we're a warming center, the generator doesn't work and. So, but more to come on that, but, I've got a couple things for the regular meeting.
Okay. And I've got more
Oh,
stuff for our
real
next
quick,
session.
when you close this meeting, just so you know, I took pretty copious notes, so tomorrow morning I'll follow up with an email to everybody. With this is what we talked about, these are the takeaways, you guys can come back and say, yeah, but you forgot that, or hey, no, do it this way, okay, but I'll give you guys a kind of an outline of what we talked about, what we said we'd do for you, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, we're good with this one? All right, so I move to adjourn the Linden Township Board of Trustee regular work session meeting at 6:27 p.m. Any discussion?
No.
Call for the vote?
Trustee Atkins. Yes. Trustee Siamaka.
Yes.
Trustee Noble.
Yes. All right,
This
meeting
time-
is adjourned.
This time, we will have video and audio on mute. We continue to tape and go into the regular trustee meeting at 6:30.
Township Board of Trustees meeting is called to order at 6:30 PM. You may remain seated for a moment of reflection or stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Atkins?
Yes.
Zobel?
Yes.
Seymour?
Just a quick introduction of everybody who's here. Chief Belford's wandering around somewhere. He'll be back. We've got Fire Chief Brian Miller, Fiscal Officer Joanne Burry, Trustee Tim Atkins, Trustee Zobel, Trustee Delina Siamaco. We have Matt Newman, our not service director, even though it says that on the website. I know it's something else. And Township Administrator Pat Myers. All right. Do we have anybody who wants to speak tonight? You have public comment open, about 5 minutes per person. If you have anything to say, please come on up to the podium to speak. Make sure to say your name, give your address only if you like.
Okay. I just want to comment on.
Can you just please, just to the podium, just so we have so many complaints about the audio. This will help a little bit.
And I want to comment on your work session. I took some notes here. It's just a little bit more information for you. You talked about the Sunbury Woods Park. That actually is technically not a park, it's a common area. It has a deed, and there are deed restrictions, and the deed is posted on your website in 2 different places, so you should be able to find it easy and review that and see what that's about. Also, I wanted to comment that the $17,000 mulch quote was more than just mulch. So you can probably have Pat pull that up and he can review it with you. And then the other thing, and I'm glad Joanne's here because this is something that I still on my phone, that she had emailed me. They were talking about Friends of Allen Creek and the township donating money. And I know that you were given that answer, but I'll give it to you again if I can. I'm not saying it can't be done. That's not what we're saying. But you have some steps to go through. Okay. So regarding, you had asked, the committee had asked, would we donate $500 to Friends of Allen Creek? And here's the answer. It says, regarding your request for Blendon Township to become a contributing member of Friends of Allen Creek, FACT, this raises important concerns. Blendon Township operates with money from taxpayers. Various sections of the Ohio Revised Code addresses this type of expenditure. In parentheses, it says contributions and or donations, again, using taxpayers' dollars as concerning. That's in the ORC. While the trustees fully support and admire the FACT's mission to preserve and protect the beauty and quality of the Allen Creek watershed, further review is needed to ensure compliance with all legal requirements. So it's an FYI. I heard Pat say, oh, I'll just pull that application up. You need to check with your legal.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
My name is Kubir Sharma. I'm a center member, but I'm the same time photographer. One of the best things happened during the snow time when we were stuck in the house. That time I got a phone call. And I answered the phone. Usually I don't. I answered the phone. And it happened to be Pat. And I was so moved. I was so grateful that somebody cares about us and finding out how you're doing. You need anything else? We are here. I'm in the office. Tell me what you need. And I was surprised. I talked to him, but I was not sure whether he knew who I was. And I asked him at the end, I said, Pat, do you know who you're talking to? Yes, photographer. He said, blank photographer. So thank you very much, Pat. I appreciate it very much. Another one, I take pictures at all the events, and so Valerie, Pat knows me. And what I noticed is we are seniors, when we post them, it's pictures on the wall now. But what I was coming with the idea that there is some kind of board like TV, a small TV. You can put the pictures there, and one after another pictures comes. And that way, when they walk in, they can see themselves, they can see their friends, and then it's word of mouth, and they talk about it. Hey, you seen me? I saw you. And then they come and they feel good about it. And it's a self-esteem goes up, and they are recognized. And of course, I'm a social worker by profession and a counselor, so I will look at that point of view, where how we can boost up their morale and self-esteem and mental health. So just bring them joy for little expense. I have talked to Valerie. She had a house, a small one, but we can get a little bigger one so that everybody's attention goes when they walk in. There is a door goes that side and this side. So in the board we can walk up, put on the wall. And so that will cheer them up, that will make their day, they see it. I already noticed that when the pictures on the wall, they feel good about it. They come to me and say, hey, you took good pictures. I say, thank you, allow me to take the pictures. So my humble request is to consider to buy that equipment, which is very easily available on Amazon or anything. Valerie knows. And so I'm humbly requesting you, the trustees, to consider this. This will make a big day for the seniors when they walk in and they're coming, going. They see themselves in all the events, coming, Halloween, or just like Veterans Day, the police chief was here. I took the picture, it was hanging on the wall. They recognize, hey, chief of police, and just past pictures, other pictures, And today I came because I want to take my trustees' pictures and I want to hang on the wall too. So humbly request you to consider to allocate the money, allow her to buy and then do it. It's very simple, not expensive, but I think money needs to be allocated, So that's very, very big thing will happen. Smile on the face and we're cheering them up. And they do that. They will do that. We want to see them. We want to be recognized. And being a member of a theater, by profession, I look at different mental health aspect, how we can soothing. It's very soothing. They see themselves, and, like you were talking about 100 years, and I already have planned. I talked to Valerie about celebrating the lady's birthday. I've been asking her. So we are working on it to do that. And I took the pictures of the 90th birthday also. So we did that. We are doing it, but to be exhibiting their pictures is big thing. For them it's big thing. Somebody recognizing and center recognizing and calling for their snow time Pat. I'm really grateful to you. That made my day. That was the day. And so thoughtful, somebody think about us and doing it. That's my humble request. That's all it is.
Thank you.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
But that
we'll
is
absolutely.
for them, honestly, for recruiting new members as well. I mean, it shows what some of the activities.
I bought one of the big ones for my mother, and she liked watching that more than television. But maybe we could get, like from Sam's Club, one of the 22-inch TVs, and we could just have it rolling
You
constantly.
can do that with a
Yeah.
television and an SD card at this point.
We
Yeah.
already have one.
Yeah, that would be.
That's
You think we already have
super.
one?
We got one
Yeah.
back in
Oh,
the service
perfect.
bay we might be able to use.
Super easy. I
Okay.
think that's
Yeah.
a great idea.
I think it's a great idea. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for considering.
Does anybody else have anything? All right, let's move on to trustee comment. Would either of you like to start? Okay.
I just
You
have
got-
something
okay.
really quick. So I did contact Mike Stenziano's office, and they agreed to come meet with us to discuss the process on property reevaluation. I'm sure many of you have received your property tax bills by now, or if they're in escrow, you may not see them, but you can go online to see what your new assessed value is and how that impacts your property taxes. So I would like to propose that we have the auditor's office out to speak to us maybe during next month's work session,
Yeah, absolutely. I
before
like
the
that.
meeting. Because if you wait too long, people can't go in and question their reevaluation, but they can at least show us what to do. I know how to do it because I've done it many years, but I think coming from the auditor's office, they can actually show the residents what to do, how to do it, what happens.
So they could bring it up even on the screen and
Most
just go
likely
through
could.
all the steps.
What are the deadlines for those again?
I think it was the end of March. But then we had through June, they were gonna have mobile units coming out in June. So we have time, but I'd rather get it in March
Yeah,
because it
that's-
takes a while.
I just wanna make sure that that work session wouldn't be too long. Like, is that
I mean,
too
I can't
long?
imagine they'd be here for more than a half hour, 40 minutes. We had.
No, no,
meant
not,
missing the
not timeline.
deadline.
Yeah, I meant missing the
Oh,
deadline, yeah.
oh.
Because our next.
Oh, no, you wouldn't miss the deadline for that. If I could get them here for the March work
Okay.
session, I think they're still fine.
Okay.
Can I go ahead and tell them the date and
I'm
the
all for
time?
it.
Okay.
I think we should definitely, anything that we can do to educate folks about
Yeah.
what the property taxes mean. I mean, I think we've all seen the same email, like, what is this line? Not that they're gonna explain every single line item, but it'll take them through a process of what it is and actually get them looking at it, so.
And how to apply for homestead
Yep.
tax reduction and reduce your property taxes as much as you can. So Pat, as soon as I confirm with his office, we need to post that. And then if you guys can get it on social, that'd be good too.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll do that tomorrow. Done?
Well, along that same lines, I want to, and I'll email Pat and we'll talk about this a little bit, but one of the things that I consistently field online are energy supplier questions, right? And so I think it would just be easier to throw it together a session. I want to see how we could do that. I don't know if we need to gauge interest or not before actually lining anything up fully, but I think that that's something that would be incredibly helpful. It's something I've probably helped 30, 40 people just find other suppliers for their pricing, for their service.
And I
So
usually just tell them when I get the question, I tell them, he's good.
I got a couple just last week. People started getting the gas bills, and those rates have gone
Ridiculous.
through the roof. I think it's 30 cents in the past 3 or 4 months. So per CCF, so that ends up being $30, $40 per month. So it's a big difference. So I'll work with you, but I don't know if we need to gauge interest on that a little bit. There's probably some, but if there's a hey, sign up, something like that we could set up. Another thing that's happening in the area, and really this doesn't affect us directly, but Amazon's looking at some data centers, and you had shared something about AI and data centers. I think Otterbein was hosting a session. I happened to go up to Sunbury, where they recently had a little event about the Amazon data center, and that is at the very tip of Hoover Reservoir. That plan is on Vance Valley Road, so right before you get through Galena. And I'm not saying everyone should rush out there and be interested, but that definitely would have downstream effects. That's 5 miles-ish from our line. So it's just something to keep in mind. Data centers are great in certain capacities for technology, and they provide 150 some odd jobs, but I don't think that there's a lot that we can do about this right now, but I wanted to at least make sure that people are aware that it's there. So if we start to see questions come up, right now I'll probably bring some, but so they'll start coming through. But cognizant of what it does to the south end of the reservoir, and kind of what we have a park that's in that area, 100-acre wood is there. What can we do to make sure that we're protecting ourselves from the downstream effects if that were to complete? And then the last thing that I have was the abolished property tax initiative, and obviously we've already had a discussion about property taxes, but it is going to start to ramp up as we head into the year. And so the only thing that I wanted to throw out there is that you will probably see some information that will start to be published, maybe posted here even, about the services that a township offers. And it's not nothing. So if property tax reform takes place, that really does scrape from our services. It leaves us with very few options about what we can do as a township. Some of those are like, hey, we can become a city. Well, we're a really fragmented township, and so becoming a city really isn't in the table for us. It's absorption. So if you like your township, just think about it, do some research, so that you know really what you're signing before you're getting that on the ballot. And that's the only thing I have.
Thank you. All right, yeah, I'm gonna tag onto him just a little bit with property tax elimination petition that's out there. Like you said, so much of what we provide comes from property taxes, and we've both learned at the and Joanne could go into this forever, I'm sure, at the OTA conference about how much the state keeps and how little the townships get, even though we're taking care of more roads and more this and more that. So it's not like we're just gonna magically get some money from somewhere else if this goes away. So yeah, just think hard about that one. What I've got, I'm gonna shorten it a little bit here, but one thing we just started is the Next Trex Wilder Elementary Recycling effort. If you go directly behind the senior center here, there's a bin where you can bring your plastic bags, grocery bags, produce bags, Ziploc bags, bubble wrap, newspaper sleeves, different things like that, and put them in there. As that fills up, we're trying to collect up to a ton, and once there is a ton of plastic that's going into this program, Wilder Elementary will get a bench donated to them through this Next Trex program. Long-term goal, if this goes well and it isn't too much work for everybody and gathering these up, because then we have to take them somewhere else too, is to get some of the other schools involved, you know, like Huber Ridge, get them a bench and so forth, and just keep going with this long-term. And it's another drop-off to get the plastic out of everywhere and save the turtles. With that. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm gonna skip some of the stuff I had, including coffins that go on up here. And let's see, I think the only other thing I'm gonna bring up right now, Lindy, the snow pile is quickly melting. It's down to just a little teeny tiny piece right now. It's probably gonna be gone tomorrow. We'll put the winner out there on the website and on Facebook and all those things. And I think the thing that I'm happiest about right now is we do not have an executive session tonight, so I am just downright giddy about that. And
And the winners will receive some sort of gift card not funded from the township?
Yes,
Just so everyone
correct.
knows that?
Yes, that is
It will
gonna be
donated by a
donated
local business.
by a local business, yes. All right, that is all I have. We're gonna move on over to fiscal report.
Have you had a chance to review the regular meeting minutes from February 11th?
Yes.
And we have a motion to approve them?
I will motion to approve the minutes.
Any discussion?
Call for the vote.
Atkins?
Yes.
Zobel?
Yes.
Schumacher? Yes. And then have you had a chance to review the purchase orders?
Yes.
Yes.
And may I have a motion to approve them?
I will motion that as well.
I'll second. We have a motion on the table by Trustee Atkins to approve the purchase orders as presented, seconded by myself. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Atkins?
Yes.
Zobel?
Yes.
Schumacher?
Yes.
And then have you had a chance to review the bills?
Yes.
Yes.
And may I have a motion to approve the bills?
I will move to pay the bills as presented.
I'll second. We have a motion on the table to pay the bills as presented. Any discussion?
No.
Call for the vote.
Atkins?
Yes.
Zobel?
Yes.
Schumacher?
Yes.
And that's all I have tonight.
All right. Pat?
Thank you. I only have a couple things. One, I put the community gardens discussion on the agenda. So Matt and I, and Taylor have been talking about this. The community gardens, we currently have 60 plots back there for community gardens. We are going to, at some point, need that land back there for cemetery use. And it's, so what we're going to do, this is not, I don't want any action tonight, I just want to let you kind of know what we're going to propose to you in the future, is we want to reduce the gardens to 25 lots from 60 lots, whatever you want to call them. Residents and gardeners with 3+ years would be available to purchase those 25 lots. If you're not a resident, either a tenured person, the rate will be a little bit different. We'll put pricing together for you and rules.
You're saying purchase it, not just do an annual
No, it's annual, it's an annual
Okay.
renewal. They're purchasing it for that season, right?
event. Okay.
And we've had a lot of issues that kind of go away by sticking with residents mainly and 3-year tenures. We had lots of people back there stealing our dirt, going over and taking dirt away and leaving the water run and so forth. So we really feel like we need to kind of put some rules around this and some changes. But we also are going to need that land for cemetery use in the future. And just so you know, currently, for the chief, currently we have 1,942 available spaces, okay? When I say available spaces, Matt can speak to this too, that's not plots, that's available spaces to be buried. We only have 681 10-foot plots left. That we haven't, now, we have land to develop more back here, but I'm saying with roads to it, with electric to it, the needs, the infrastructure is needed to have that. So this would gain us some land there as well in the future by doing this particular thing. And then Matt will talk to you a little bit about, if you don't mind, Matt, talking about this. We also had mentioned to you, to the three of you, that there are, what is it?
32 plots, we talked about this last meeting, that were not 10 foot, they're 9 foot. So Pat, Taylor, and myself, we called around several cemeteries to try to get comp prices. And our current price for a 10 foot is $2,200. And I think if we discount those $200, we could sell those all day long for cremations.
There's another $64,000. Otherwise, they're just gonna sit there and they're not gonna get sold because they're not the right size.
I have no problem with that.
We'll put that together in a package for you for your review and consideration.
So there's no water.
Yeah.
Never mind, that didn't work.
So both of these things will come to you in a kind of a package that says, hey, this is what we want you to do, and we'll create a motion for it, and then you guys consider it at a later meeting. But we just wanted the head shake that you guys we should move forward considering the new rules and regulations, consensus, if that's okay with you. And then lastly, Trustee Doble asked me about it, and I was fine with it. So I want to make sure that we're all good on how you guys want to do this. Looking at doing some employee spotlights. And what I did was reach out to everybody and said, write a bio. Tell me about yourself. And everybody's been sending me those the last couple of days. And do we want to do that in part of the email blast? Do we want to do them on Facebook? Do we want to do them all those things, all the above?
All the above, everywhere we can put them,
And
yes.
just put them in a hat and draw one out and say, this month we'll do this one, this, that way
Yes.
there's no, well, I was on that first, or I was on the second, or whatever, so, you know, you never know, so. So we'll get started on that, we'll get one out, and we can maybe do it the first of the month, do it the first of the month, and the first of the month, if you wanna do 2 a month, it's up to you guys, you tell me, it doesn't really have to be a motion or anything, this can just be you wanna do 2 a month, you want 1 a month?
Yeah.
There's what,
2 a month,
Yeah.
I would go with that, just
Yeah.
because, we're gonna forget we even did it after a month.
Yeah. So, anyways, I just wanted to let you know that I had gathered those bios and looking to start doing those. Other than that, unless you have anything for me, I don't have anything else today.
Not at all. Matt, did you have anything else?
Yeah, real quick, I'm pleased to say that we got our report back from Frank County Soil and Water. Our MPDES reports came back, looking good. We're compliant with EPA, and I'm up to date on my classes. So, we're in good shape.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alright. Chief Belfort.
Officers have all been issued new body cameras with the Translate program, 59 languages. We loaded on our body cameras. We're going through the training on them now, so we're going to speak and listen to the body camera and languages to people. And it'll be our headset packages coming in, our officers being trained how to run the scenarios, and we're going to have some extremely in-depth training scenarios running in a robust training program for the officers on a lot of scenarios with a lot of different people, different situations. It's AI driven, so the officers' actions and language during the scenarios will kind of help drive the scenario just like a realistic situation. And we'll have a report on that soon. Maybe some of the trustees will want to come over and put on a VR headset and go through some of the situations and see what's happening. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Chief Miller.
As part of our community risk reduction, we did a look back on the last 12 months of fires, and one of the things that was jumping out at us is a lot of people are leaving items on top of their stoves, whether it's like towels or groceries or things like that. So that was just one of the things that kind of bubbled up to the top as one of our leading causes of fires. Fortunately, in most cases, they were small fires and were contained pretty quick, but just something to be aware of when you bring groceries home and things like that. We actually had one where a resident got a delivery and set it on the stove, and it had food in it, and when they left, the dog jumped up and actually turned the burner on. So just be aware of that. I think it's something that kind of gets overlooked, but kitchen fires is one of our leading causes of major fires, so that was just something that, in our review, kind of popped up to us. So just something to be aware of, you know, when you bring groceries home or you have the kitchen towel, things like that, try to keep that area clear of, anything that could catch on fire. So, that's all I got for tonight. Thank you.
Hold on, are we gonna see you again?
Yes.
One more?
So, one more, yes, so, yeah.
Okay, at this time, I'm gonna open it back up for public comment. If anybody has anything else to say, at this time, it would need to be about anything that has happened in this meeting. Alright, if we don't have any other comment, the only announcement we have is that the next regular trustee meeting will be on March 11th at 6:30 p.m. right back here at the Senior Center. And with that, I move to adjourn the regular trustee meeting at 6:56 p.m. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Atkins?
Yes.
Zobel?
Yes.
Demarco?
Yes.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for being here.